Hello, and welcome back to the 21-Day Self-Transformation. And today we're talking about authenticity. Now, to awaken one's authentic self is basically, it's a call to connect to your deepest wisdom. And what does authenticity mean to you? How do you know if you're being authentic? I ask myself that quite a bit, but I like to think that I'm following that path now. And a measure of authenticity confirms, what you have connected with an ideal. Now, how do you know when someone is being authentic or inauthentic? Is it via their language, their body language, the way they dress, speak, or their facial expressions? With any luck, you may have some idea how to distinguish inauthenticity in others. But consider this. What are other people's impression of you when they met you for the first time? To reveal your authentic nature, really, you need to kind of suspend your judgment, so to say, about how life should be or should not be. There's a level of discipline, really, that's required to attend those aspects which you dislike in yourself. It demands courage to face them, though, and inner convictions and self-compassion. The ego, it can't thrive without your self-identity. And awakening your authentic self is a call to reconnect with the purposeful nature rather than the ego mind, which rules basically your mental landscape, so to say. Release the need to attain perfection, since it's merely a guise to protect you from attending to something deeper that requires self-transformation. Free yourself from needing to be right all the time by choosing happiness, abundance, joy, and love. Suspend your perception of how life should unfold or that it owes you something. Life does not serve to fulfill every whim. You are a universal expression of life. It is your obligation to repay life by connecting with and revealing your true authenticity. Just say yes to life. Affirm what you want out of life and what life also wants out of you. The more you acknowledge yourself as playing a larger role within the infinite intelligence of the universe, the more life accepts the role within it. Your authentic self reveals itself as life. It seeks to cooperate with you. In time, your so-called problems will just give way to newfound blessings and opportunities. And your life will have a new sense of meaning and purpose that you bring to life. Your authentic self emerges as you develop a relationship with your deeper self. This means letting go of all those false identities and instead allow the real self to emerge. And like I said, the ego plays its part in constructing this false self by convincing you of your inauthenticity. It does this by bargaining in the form of reinforcing your unworthiness, such as, distracted self-worth. Now, every time you buy into this false premise, you strengthen the ego by granting it power over you. The ego is self-serving and self-fulfilling. It needs to be nourished in order for it to thrive. Otherwise, it loses its identity. And without an identity, the ego cannot thrive. And since it cannot sustain itself without a reinforced sense of self, you contemplate the nature of the self. You see it as a mental construct of the mind in order to create your place within this world. Now, as you weaken the identity of the egotistic self, you reconnect with your authentic self through your willingness to embrace your spiritual nature. Your spiritual nature is the unbound and infinite essence of the soul. It is who you are and who you will always be. When you cease to identify with the mental construct of self in place of your soulful nature, stepping into the light of your authentic self emerges as you drop the mental facade of the constructed self. Once you have let go of all these images, you make room for the actual self to emerge. which is grounded in authenticity. So strive to integrate your soulful nature and characteristics into personality by merging with them, and merge into the wholeness of your being. Authenticity then is a move towards unity, wholeness, and integration rather than separate. You awaken your authentic nature when you integrate your shadow self into the wholeness of your being. So, just be the real you. Don't try to put out that facade. Just be you. Whether it's good, bad, sad, happy, doesn't matter. It's all a learning process in this thing that we're going through. And like I said, I know the ego is something that keeps us in check and is our protection, but it can also get the better of you. I mean, after all, your default nature is spiritual. You unite to become entirely whole, as distinct from the wounded or broken individual constantly seeking to be fixed. So go live your remarkable life and just be you.